Hi, I'm Liz Scott, and I would love to share with you a cool trick that I found while using QuickBooks Online Advanced. So the problem was that I every year go to pull 1099 vendor detail, and I want to be able to review at a glance who are my contractors that are subject to 1099s. And sometimes those contractor payments are hiding in accounts that maybe you might not first think about. So I needed a way to be able to look at those accounts and also the vendors. Yes, you can pull a profit and loss and you can go through each account one by one and you can look at the vendors and identify which one of those vendors are 1099, and then also go over into the vendor simultaneously and ensure that that vendor is in fact a 1099 vendor. Sometimes another way that people do it is they'll compare reports. They'll take their profit and loss and they'll open up their by account report and then also pull up a 1099 detail report and then just verify, are the vendors that are expected indeed on that report. So this is kind of a cool workaround. No, it's not kind of cool. It's super cool. This is a super cool, I don't even call it a workaround. It's a cool functionality that inside of QuickBooks Online Advanced, you're able to customize and build your own reports. So you're looking at a demo account here, and this is a QuickBooks Online Advanced account. If I come over into reports, you're going to see that I have the option to create a new report, and this is part of the custom builder reports. I'm going to go ahead and start with a blank report, but I am going to go ahead and use one of the templates that are available. So if I say, let's start with a wizard, I can type in, let's do expenses. And you can see that I've got expenses by account for the last 12 months, or for this last fiscal year. We're going to go ahead and say for this fiscal year. And now I've got my contractors, my marketing, my repair and purchase. So I've got multiple different accounts that are selected here. But some of the things that I can do that I can start to customize is pull over my customized report options, open up this expense tab, and I can start to go through what is it that I actually need to see. Do I care about transaction date if I know that it's in this year? Probably not. Due date doesn't matter. Transaction number doesn't matter. Even transaction type may not matter. It's okay that my report's saying that it needs to be refreshed. We're going to keep coming through. I don't care about customer name, product class. I do want the vendor name, but I don't care about open balance. Maybe you might care about paid status. Maybe it's a bill that's been entered, so you might want to pay attention there. But those are the details that I want to look at. The next thing that I want to pull in is some vendor information. This is super cool, y'all. Okay, so if I come over here and I say, show more columns, track 1099. Oh, that's a good one. And 1099 printed. Okay, so that's my customized piece. Next, if I want to come over and I want to look at my groups, inside of my groups, if I decided I did not want to group by account any longer, guess what I can do? I can group by vendor name. Voila, now I have all of my totals and I have my vendor names, and I can even look. So now that they're grouped together by vendor names, I can even look at the account that was used, and I can identify, are there any areas that I need to update the account? So that's a really cool win. And each of these are going to open up and show me more detail as to what was the transactions for that particular vendor. The other field that we enabled was the track 1099. So this is telling me this is not a 1099 vendor. I could immediately go into a vendor and I could solve for that by coming over and opening up my vendor center and pulling in one of the vendors that was a 1099 vendor. I'm going to go off of memory, and I should have paid a little closer attention as to what my vendors were, but I think this is one of them. Okay, so if I come over here, okay, good. And I say edit, and I come inside of this vendor, and I'm looking for my 1099 field that I might have just scrolled right past. Additional information. I sure did. There it is. And now I'm going to save. If I go back over to my report and I look at Billy Sims, let's go ahead and refresh this report so that way we get our data to, I'm going to go ahead and just group it so we get our data to refresh. Let's see. We'll do by account, and let's go straight back over to vendor name. If I come over to Billy Sims, now I can see I've updated that this vendor is now tracked for 1099s. And then later I can see if the 1099 has been printed whenever I get to year end, but I'm not there yet. I could also create additional filters. If I wanted to say, I wanted to create a filter that only looks at tracked 1099s that is going to be equal to the answer yes. Maybe I've gone through and I feel really comfortable about all of my vendors that I've said yes to. Now I can take this report, and this might be the thing that I send over to my client. So let me take that filter off because I have not made those 1099s. I have not checked the box yet for those vendors to be 1099, but I want to show you one additional thing. So if I wanted to send this over to my client for review, one way I could do it is export all of this data into Excel. The other thing I could do is create a pivot table. So if I wanted to create a pivot table that would be by vendor name, and then maybe I want my account to be the next thing, and then I want my amounts to show. Now I have a pivot table that I'm able to see, do I have, because remember Bolton Electric had contract labor and repairs and maintenance. If I had a vendor that was used in multiple different accounts, I could send this over to my client. Because again, I can export this to Excel. I could send this over to my client. They could add any type of check boxes or fields that they needed to. The other thing that I could do with this, if I wanted to change my pivot table, I could change the direction of it. And maybe actually I could change my pivot table and maybe not include the account. Maybe that's not something that's important to me. I just want to see the vendor name and the amount. So lots of flexibility here. Hopefully this was a win for you too. And the place that I'm testing this out right now, you can see, is inside of a QuickBooks Online accountant version of QuickBooks. And we know that that version of the QuickBooks for accountants is an advanced subscription. So that's what you're seeing right now, is a QuickBooks Online accountant version that's advanced. Hopefully that'll be a place that you can go and test it out too. It's pretty cool. Thank you, everybody, for joining and watching.